Oh, hello.
Hi, welcome
Uh,
everyone. How are you,
oh
Jess?
gosh, there's folks joining us on YouTube and on Twitch and probably some other
Ooh,
places as well. So, hello, folks on the internet. Um, I am durably and wonderfully laid back. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm also just extremely relaxed. It's a Friday evening, so I'm just, I feel renewed and ready for more.
And we do want to be conscious that while many folks are, oh, heck, looks like quite a few of you joining us live in person, well, live in person online. A lot of you may be watching this after the fact online. That's super fine as well. So we run these boot camps
Awesome.
every year, and we tend to alternate between a super early one, my time, and a super late one, my time, or our time. We're only an hour apart.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So if this time live isn't a great fit for you, we'll do another one. It'll be flip time.
amazing. So as just mentioned, this is going to be recorded and staying on YouTube. I just wanted to throw up a couple links. First of all, while I tell you all about what we're up to here, just wanted to highlight a little question from Jess that is so exciting. Um, we'd love to hear where you're all joining from and what you would like to get out of the boot camps. And I can already see some folks answering. But before
Yeah.
I get to your answers, just to highlight a couple things. So this Bad Website Club Bootcamp, you can stay up to date on badwebsite.club. There you'll find the links for both the free web development bootcamp, which is the one we're starting next week, and the JavaScript one starting in February. So check that out.
That's a really good point because I see a bunch of folks saying, I'm excited for JavaScript, excited for JavaScript. We should probably point out that we're going to do the web development bootcamp first for about a
Yeah,
month. And the
that's
reason we're
correct.
doing them back to back this time is you do need some HTML and CSS to complete the JavaScript bootcamp this time. You can probably get away with just the first 2 weeks of web, but I would softly and lovingly encourage you to go back at a later date and do the whole thing if you can.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And yeah, so you can stay up to date here. If you want to catch up on YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/ at bad website club, if you're on YouTube, you're watching here now, you can stay up to date. You can subscribe if you like, and you'll get notified when these streams go live. They should already all be scheduled, so you should be good to go. If you want to talk, if you want to ask questions, if you want to share solutions, if you want to ask for help, come to the Discord. We have a Discord server. You can create an account, and we keep these safe for everybody. Here, I'll post a link into the chat. If you go to bit.ly/bwc-discord-invite, you'll be able to join. There's a little manual verification process that you can
You'll
see in
be
the
in
instructions
timeout for
there.
a little while until we fix you. Oh, not fix
Excellent.
you until we like fix your full ascendancy into Discord. There's also a
And the
forum. Oh,
Oh,
jinx.
yes. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go
So
ahead,
there's
Jess.
also a free code camp forum. Have you got the
Oh,
link to that, or shall I pass it to you?
let me see if I can grab it real quick. Sorry. I think I
Why would you
lost
ever
that
be
one.
sorry? Everything's fine. Everything's easy. I say
Okay.
everything's easy right before we make people do CSS, which is meditatively not always easy.
Got the link. Thank you so much, Jess. So here it is. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I pasted it wrong. I have been betrayed by copy paste. Sorry, everyone. Let me try that again.
Computers are always a little hard. Everything's easy.
There we
There we
go.
go.
So,
So the one that doesn't say opens in a new tab behind it, that's the one where you can get to the free code camp form. You do have to, so there are rules. We do have a bunch of rules. And on the free code
cool.
camp forum, you've got to be really careful not to post any
Project solutions.
project solutions. But at the same time, we also ask rather vehemently that you follow the code of conduct. Yeah.
Yep. You can follow it there. And if anything seems out of sorts, please feel free to get in touch with either one of us.
Yeah, so we're always on the Discord. If you ping us, we'll sort stuff out. And it's one of these things where not knowing the rules isn't an excuse for not following the rules. So we've got the code of conduct, we've got the rules all paced out. And really the reason we've got all these is we want to make sure that this is a sustainable learning environment for as many people as possible. I'm not going to call people out by names because that's scary, but I'm seeing folks in the UK, folks from the
Amazing.
UK joining on a Friday night. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. We've got folks from Turkey. Ooh, we might have to trade
Ooh,
skills because I've always wanted to learn Turkish.
amazing.
Portland, Romania, from Benin. Oh, wow. Nigeria and
Ooh.
Germany, Canada. And we've got people coming in for a lot of different goals. What kind of goals do folks have?
Oh, yes. And also I wanted to say, like, please, please feel free. I'm going to do the ticker thing here. If you have any questions about this, the boot camps, or related to the topics at hand, please feel free to send them in. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be keeping an eye here on the chat as well as the Discord server. We've got somebody here saying CSS is a pain sometimes, which is
I mean, being alive is suffering. Everything's a little difficult. CSS, just a little tiny bit frustrating.
ah. Oh, we got somebody joining from South Africa. How lovely. Great to have you here.
And I want to take a look at some of the goals people have paced out because some of these are really, really good goals. I am going to
Yeah.
fuss at some of you. So I see a bunch of people. I want to learn to code. I want to be a front end developer. I've got somebody saying, I want to do the new JavaScript course together because they've already done the
Oh,
HTML and CSS one a couple of times. So we're going to bully you to help out then a lot. I love this. We've got somebody who says, I want to get into the consistency as I learn to code. I'm going to go get this really great blog post that Quincy,
ooh,
the founder of Free Code Camp, just did about. Oh, and they've got a Discord as well, and it's great. But they just did one about 100 days of code challenge. So doing something every
ooh.
day. Um, couldn't be me. I'm a very dedicated weekends off kind of person.
Uh, Jess, it would seem we have our first question. Can I bring it up?
Yeah, let's go all the way down. Where are you? Hello. Oh,
We have a question
fabulous.
from Anuj. So the question is, how will this bootcamp help me in the long run towards web development as a career?
And we get variations of this question a lot. Say, hey, am I going to be ready for a job right after this? And I said,
Hmm.
well, it's so between the web bootcamp and the JavaScript bootcamp, we hope that this will give you the foundations to build your skills and get a job. So the one thing we say is, I'm so sorry, at the scale we run this at, with it being part-time, we don't offer any employment support.
Yeah,
We do think that if you finish both the web and the JavaScript, you should have a really good portfolio. But to make
yeah,
things more difficult, I strongly encourage people to change their projects to customize them before putting them into a professional portfolio. So as you build your websites, as you build your projects, go ahead and put them up. But before you talk to employers, you might want to customize them and make them your own. Just because the free code camp projects get seen a lot on the web, you want to do something that stands out a little. So the short answer to my long answer is we think that this will teach you the fundamental skills that you need
hmm,
to progress your own development in your own time to get a job. So we'll teach you the very basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And some folks do get these certificates and go right into a job. I just want to be really, really cautious because job markets are different in different places, and it's always a little bit difficult for new engineers to get their first job. So I don't want to be like, you'll get a job right away. It'll be super easy. I want to be a little bit guarded just because it's going to be hard, but we'll do it together.
yeah. Oh, awesome. We've got somebody asking or saying that they've got some technical issues with the Discord. I don't know when you joined, but I just verified all accounts that have ticked the box. If you're still not verified, could you please let me know and we'll sort something out, or maybe send me a message. You'll find my Hola Soy Milk on the Discord. You can send me a message and I can sort you out.
Yeah.
I love this question though because I think it's important to be realistic, as you said, Jess. Uh, Unfortunately, at the scale we do this, we can't, offer support for finding jobs. However, I, what I like about these boot camps is that they offer a variety of like new situations where you have to be like, okay, I'm going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable for now, learning something new, being in a situation where something doesn't work for me. And I am a big fan and would strongly encourage all of you around the boot camp stream times, the around the lessons themselves, to also collaborate with one another where you can. You know, I Picking up the skills and confidence to be able to present a portfolio, I think, is what you're really going to get out of this. So
Oh, that's so
I would
much more professional and so much more.
ah
Do you know what we should probably flag something really important, which is that
yeah.
you are between the two of us, you are like the proper developer here, where I am. Well, no, we're going to split it. Development expertise, teaching expertise,
I'll definitely accept
and
that latter part.
can we talk a little bit about the philosophy for this?
Oh, please. Could you
Yeah.
elaborate?
So with the boot camps, and especially with the bad website club vibe, is this a
Yeah.
6 hours every day? Scream at you if you don't do your homework.
No. No.
So we don't necessarily think that you're going to be a bad developer. That's not why we called it the bad website club. But especially early career, especially when you first start making things, there can be this huge tendency to say, "Oh, it's not perfect. I can't show anyone. Oh, I'm no good. My website's a little janky." So what we're doing, especially while we learn, is we're making soft, silly little projects while we experiment. Cesium, I'm
Yep.
so sorry. I'm going to be mean to you and pull you up on stage. And I think this is a really great example. So Cesium says, "Hey, I'm doing these boot camps," and Cesium's are one of our assistant instructors and just such a sweetheart. Sorry to embarrass you.
Mhm.
Saying, "Hey, I want to learn enough to freelance, so I would like to make some money in this. We live in a world where money exists." But also, I want to make silly little sites and silly little games. And this is such a good goal for learning. So, if you want to go on later and be a hardcore 10x developer and code every day, and I don't know any of the other stereotypes. Drink is it? It's not code red anymore, is it? I'm old.
Mm.
Um,
It's
I
I think
almost
it's
said
just
junk
coffee now.
cola. It's Monster. It's Monster. No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
Monster.
coffee.
Right, right.
Um, So yeah, you can go on and be the most deadly serious web developer in the world if you want to. We can't stop you, and I wouldn't want to stop you anyway. But while we're on the boot camp, all ideas are super chill, and we're just gonna have a soft little time for what we learn. Oh, Sharda has
Ooh.
such a good question. And I'm so sorry I'm gonna answer
Yeah.
this with a link. I'm gonna go with get that link to Barb's talk.
Ooh, yeah. I would love to, recommend if I may as well. Sharda, I don't know if you've checked out the curriculum for the free web development bootcamp yet. Let me see if I can grab you a link for that. Uh, what I would what I would love to encourage you to do is to go ahead and start having a look at some of the exercises. Like we've got it kind of like, um, sorry, phew, my mind got away from me. Oh, yes. I believe we've got these like organized by which modules of the bootcamp will do of the lessons. So what you can do is if you want, you can try and go ahead on those lessons and then come back and ask any questions that you might have in order to make this more straightforward for you. So for example, let me scroll down to it. Next week we'll be starting up with the cat photo app. So I'm going to post a link to that. And Jess, I was wondering, do you have a screen share for us so that we can look at it?
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Let me go ahead and get Barb's.
Oh
Um,
yeah, sorry. I can. I actually have got it open here. Is it cool if I go ahead?
is it? Yeah. So with the oh,
Let
so
me
with the
see if I've
question
got it.
about how should I practice along and follow? So
Yeah.
oh, there's a video that we did for a past boot camp called "Learning How to Learn,"
Oh, that's such a good video.
And I really recommend this for folks when they're thinking, how do I want to plan my learning? How do I want to follow along? I really, really like this. And not just because Barb and Zach are folks I'm a big fan of. So it's there in the chat. It's super chill. And I know I keep interrupting you, but Craig makes this fantastic point. So I'm going to pull you on screen. I'm so sorry. Craig,
Ooh.
so maybe a fellow old and makes a solid point that the web used to be full of beautiful bad websites, that we used to make messy websites all the time. And really the aesthetic was beautiful mess. And now web design's gotten a bit flat, a bit white, a bit big splash image. And Craig makes a fantastic point, and really it makes me feel a lot better about even better about teaching, that by helping learn some of these core skills together, we can all go out and make the web louder and messier together.
I love that.
Oh, you know what? Uh,
Um,
this is,
oh,
oh gosh, how do I grab this? Um,
oh, I think you might have to go to Twitch to do it.
yeah, it's okay.
Um, so we've got a question about ticks. Let me, if I may, would it be cool if I shared my
Yeah,
screen to show how to
how
confirm
to
your
do
to
it,
verify
that'd be
yourself on Discord?
great. So if you're having a problem
Yeah,
with Discord, this is how to fix it.
thank you. Let me
And then
just.
after you're done with that, actually, while you're getting that up, I'm going to.
So where is
So
my
Mr.
dis?
Elsmore is actually a colleague of mine based here in Birmingham, the best city, and made this fantastic point that the
Hi.
web used to look like this. This was
Ooh, can
a
you zoom in?
very professional, this was a state-of-the-art website in 1996, but it's so chaotic. All of the different planets are different links, which used to be very popular and time-consuming. And this was like this was a state-of-the-art website back in the day. Everything looked deeply chaotic. This was before CSS, you'll know. Um, and we can go ahead and make silly little things again. I'm pretty excited. Thank you very
Yeah,
much, Mike.
thank you, Mike. Let me go ahead and share my Discord so that everybody can see how to confirm yourself. So what you see here, I'm sorry. I hope the size is okay. I don't know. Does this make it bigger?
That
Oh,
looks
that
pretty
does.
good.
Oh, fantastic. So when you enter our Discord, you'll see this welcome and announcements channel, I believe. You will not be able to chat until you are verified. So what you need to do, where it says new members, um, please react to this message with the tick, and an admin will verify you via bot. If you've joined more than 24 hours ago and haven't yet been verified, please send us a message. So here you'll see that there's this tick where you'll see 449 people have ticked.
That's
All
a
you got to do is
terrifying
click.
number.
Oh, it just went up. Thank you, whoever just
I'll
verified.
verify you right now.
So we have a bot that will verify you if you've ticked. If you haven't yet and we haven't verified you in 24 hours, please send either of us a message. If you click here on my profile, you should be able to uh, send me a message and then we can get you verified. So that's how it works.
Everything's easy.
Yeah. Oh, we just got a bunch of people come in. You can get the dark theme on Discord. I know. I like the dark the light theme. I'm a weirdo.
Did you see there's like a social media site just for developers? You can join it now. Oh, we should touch on that. Um,
Go for
when
it.
can people start saying they're web developers?
Ooh. So I would say the moment you're developing for the web, you're a web developer.
Like you've written a couple lines of HTML? Good news.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But like, I think, I think this goal of becoming one should be paced with learning, embracing that not knowing is a part of learning, going forward, asking questions, answering questions, collaborating with one another. This is why we created the Discord so that y'all can answer each other's questions as well.
Oh,
Don't be
because
afraid
we
about
don't
being
we don't
wrong.
have the time all the time. Like we love y'all, but we love y'all and
Ooh, what do we got here?
So this is what we're going to be using. So the big one of the big thing I really want to say is we did not make free code camp. If we made free code camp, we would be bragging all the time. Oh, that's a really good
Absolutely.
question. I'm gonna save this question and come back to it in a whole second. So this is free code camp. They're separate from us. They're a registered nonprofit. This boot camp is completely free. Free Code Camp is completely free, but because they're a charity, they're raising donations. If you have a ton of extra money, you got some Christmas money and you really want to donate, it's a cool thing to do. But don't donate money you don't have. And there's
Hmm.
never any cost for this boot camp. You literally cannot give us money without showing up in town and giving one of us a cookie. And please don't, that's terrifying. So the way this is going to work is so this boot camp, or this pair of boot camps back to back, we're going to do two different certifications, one after each another. Now, see, that's such a good question. I'm going to get that in a whole second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over some of that right now. So, we're going to do the responsive web design curriculum starting on Monday. And if you've already done some HTML and CSS, it might seem super familiar. If you're really comfortable with HTML and CSS, you might not want to do this. You might want to join us on February
8th?
8th? 8th?
No,
February
don't quote me
8th,
on that.
we're professionals. You might wanna join us early February, where we'll be starting the brand new JavaScript algorithms and data structures. I see a question where somebody's asking, "Hey, do we get certifications?" You
Ooh,
absolutely
great
do, my
question.
loves. So you'll get a certification for each of these that you follow, and that's just gonna come directly out of the free code camp system. We you don't have to wait for us to fix it for you. We had another really good question where Nassim was saying, so do we want to aim to do one project a week? So one thing I really want to stress is we're going to be going super fast through this. I think that trying to get all of the projects finished for responsive web design and finished in a way where you want to show them to potential employers in a month is not practical. We often have folks come back 2 weeks after the streams for the boot camp ends, 3 weeks after the stream for the boot camp ends, 3 months after the boot camp ends, and they say, "I am finished now." So we're gonna run the streams for a set amount of time, but you can finish at your own pace. We have folks who joined us last time and are coming back to finish this time. Um, I do you know what? I think in my long life, I've never finished all of it. Like I've done different aspects of like I've done like 97% of these while teaching the whole time. But do you know what? I'll join you all this time so I get a better feel for how fast it is. So if you wanted to do one project a week, I'd recommend doing a really stripped down version of it where your tests just pass. We'll learn about tests as we go. They're not, oh
Yeah.
gosh, let's talk about tests.
Okay.
How are we
Ooh,
gonna
test sounds
do
scary.
tests? How are we gonna do attendance? How are we gonna do homework? Oh no, homework is real.
So, none so as Jess already explained, the way to get these certifications is to complete the projects. Everything else is self-paced. There is no time constraint. There is no attendance. There is no testing on our side. We will not give you grades. So
Oh, we'll
by
definitely not give you grades.
absolutely not. So the way that you'll get these certifications is it when you complete those 5 projects. And I believe Free Code Camp will do a quick check that everything looks okay through these automated pieces of software that check. These are called tests. These little pieces of code that check that your websites built are built okay. And once that's
So
done, you
failing
will get
a
a free
code
certification.
test is a lot less scary than failing a test like at school. These just say, "Hey,
Absolutely.
you need to fix a little thing." Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once that's done, you will get this from Free Code Camp, and you'll be able to use it to your heart's content.
Amazing.
So let's see. We've covered when should we look at a schedule?
Let's look at the schedule. And while
Here, let
you're
me
do you have the schedule up to hand?
I'll get it in just a
Cool.
moment.
while you're getting it, I'll show folks, here's what we're going to build next week. We're going to build a cat photo app. And you might say, "Ah, this doesn't really look like apps on my phone." And I say, it's cool. Be cool. It's your brand new first project. And we're going to go step by step in nice, soft, easy ways. And the big thing I
Yeah.
want to stress is this is a boot camp where there's no real way to fail. If you begin this and you don't finish and you come back in a year, that's amazing. If you do this and you come back in 6 weeks, that's fine. The big thing I really want to stress is even I somebody fussed at me for lying about this where I said it's just web development, it can't hurt you. And web development absolutely can hurt you when you're more senior and you have to look at it every day. But right now, while we're learning, none of this is designed to be stressful or harmful. Sometimes you'll be a little bit frustrated. Sometimes you'll be a lot bit frustrated, but it's just programming. It can't hurt you yet.
Yeah, let me see. Make sure I've got that calendar for us. Yes. Fantastic. So I'm just going to share my screen again. Sorry, everyone. Oh, too many windows. Here we go. Oh, we got a question here. I will answer it in just a moment. So, share screen. Yeah. Let's go to the bad website club. So, haha. All right. Let's look at the schedule. So, this is the Bad Website Club website. If you go to badwebsite.club, you'll find it there. I'll just post it there into the chat. Now, you'll see that we've updated it with a free web development and free JavaScript bootcamps. You can get the schedule for either of those by clicking on either of them here. This will take you to them, and you'll get all of the info, no signups, no attendance, no tests, and so on and so forth. You can chat and collaborate on the Bad Website Club Discord channel, Mondays to Fridays from this time span, 17 for 1 hour. And we've created a Google Calendar for you that you can add to your calendar app of choice. So if you click here, this will give you exactly that. Check it out. So you can add this to your calendar, and that'll give you the schedule. It'll tell you everything that you need. So let me grab that link and plop it in here. Hold on. Copy link address. There we go. It's a bit of a messy link, but it should do the trick.
That is an incredible link. That is a terrifying link.
That's a big link.
Oh, and this is a really great time to mention that we've got. This is not very modest. We've got great art. Hang on. Let me get the. Where's the over? Like, look how cute these are. And all of these were made by Kiri, and you can find more about her work on our Very Bad website. Do you think we should
Ooh.
probably maybe spend some time fixing this website? Ooh, do you know what?
Oh, this
Is
one here.
this
Sorry.
is this website on GitHub?
It
Like, this is
is.
all
Oh. Oh.
oh. So
That,
we're,
that-
we've taught the basics of Git in
oh.
past classes, and we'll go ahead and we'll share the video in past bootcamps. But it might be that we don't wanna fix our website at all. It might be that we want to, like, see if anybody else. So we'll
Ooh.
optionally learn. It's not required to finish the bootcamp, but we've
This
got
is
the option to
completely
learn a little
optional.
bit more about open source and how to change other people's projects later on. Oh, so this is just a preview. We don't have to do this. It's not a core thing, nothing scary. We've got a really good question. And H is saying,
Ooh.
hey, for the JavaScript bootcamp, the one that we're going to be starting in February, remember, because we're going to do web first and then we'll do JavaScript in February. H is saying, do we need to know the foundations of HTML and CSS for the JavaScript bootcamp? And yes, you do. So in order to get
Fantastic.
the most out of the JavaScript bootcamp, we think you'll
Yeah.
need at least the first 2 weeks of the web bootcamp.
But just to clarify, just in case, sorry, just want to come back to this question real quick. Just in case you're referring to the web development bootcamp You absolutely do not.
Oh, thank you. That's such a good point. If you're talking about the web, no. You could be,
No foundations.
this could be the first time you touched a computer. I mean, that might be a little bit challenging. And we'll work through this with you. But the web development bootcamp, you don't need any prerequisites aside from how to get your browser open and, yeah, stubbornness.
Ah, I think. Oh, I see. Did we come back to this question, Jess? What the difference
Oh,
between
this
a
is
web
such a
developer and
good
a software
question.
developer is?
Sorry, I'm very aggressive at a good question.
No, it's wonderful.
Like, first of all, I don't mean to point out names. What a beautiful name. Tenzing is such a lovely name. First of all, jealous. Second of all, so I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask you in a very, very serious voice. What's the difference between a web developer and a software engineer?
They seem to be sometimes used interchangeably. Ooh,
I
ooh,
often
ooh.
joke $15,000. So oftentimes you'll see software engineer software engineer roles pay a little bit more, and I think that's stopped. But some companies use software engineer as a title. Some companies use a web developer as a title. It's really interchangeable. I think so. Yeah. So you can go ahead and call yourself a programmer. You can call yourself a coder. You can call yourself a web developer. You can call yourself a web designer if you're designing websites as well. And you can call yourself a software engineer.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that that a lot of folks will that a lot of companies will use these interchangeably. And I think it's just going to come down to what that company, like the name that the company uses, and there's no real correct or wrong answer for that specifically. So, a web developer and a software engineer, I mean, a software engineer can be both a mobile app developer and a web developer. Um, and a web developer is a little bit more constrained to web, but I think it's more of an umbrella term kind of thing. I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah.
So, let's see what other questions. Folks, please feel free to bring in your questions. As said, if you're having trouble with the Discord, feel free to message us on Discord as well. Yeah. Yeah. So, would we be missing? Is there anything else that we might have wanted to cover?
Hmm. So it's okay to make bad websites. There's no way to fail. Everything's fine. Computers can't hurt you yet. I think that's it. So we're going to be coming back Monday.
Yep. So, we'll be back at the same time.
Yeah.
Season puts it so well. Software engineer is a broader category, and I would agree.
Oh, because you can be a lot of different kinds of. You could be a Ruby engineer. That's just a different programming language. We're not going to learn it on the boot camp. You could be a Python developer and be a software engineer. Yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
oh
ooh,
no. Oh gosh,
ooh.
we've got so many good questions. Wait. Um, Donaldo, you're asking, is this a flipped classroom homework? I'm so sorry, I've never heard this term. If you
Yeah,
could
me
explain a
neither.
little bit more, I'd love to hear more and answer about it. While we're waiting to get a little bit more information on this, we'll do the quick questions first, and then I'm going to come back to this question from H because I think both of us have got really excited.
Yeah.
Rob is saying, how many hours outside of class do we recommend you set aside to study? It depends.
Yeah. I oh, here's a point. Um, one thing that I noticed a lot when I'm learning something new is that it doesn't click immediately. And how long like I sometimes find myself thinking like, well, I can't move on until this thing has clicked 100%, right? What I would recommend is, for example, if something doesn't click, spend some time on your own, like trying to make it understand like trying to understand it. For example, I don't know, if we're doing like some new CSS thing that seems weird, we'll be throwing out a bunch of resources like MDN and some other websites out there. I strongly recommend going around and playing with them just until like something clicks. But if it doesn't fully make 100% sense, I would strongly recommend don't stop the boot camp.
Oh, yeah, like, I've been teaching this boot camp. I've been working with web stuff for a million years, and so many times where I'm like, "Oh, you know what? This Flexbox thing works now. Why?" Like, it just works mysteriously.
I
So
was also thinking of Flexbox.
there's different kind of learning on this. Some of this you'll be like, "Oh, this makes sense. I can logically, intuitively see how this works." And this sounds kind of fluffy, but a lot of the skills are things you sort of grow into. You say, "Oh, that feels weird. Why does this work?" And as you keep working with it, it feels less and less weird. So I'd recommend a
Yeah,
couple of hours a day. But the big thing I want to push is this shouldn't interrupt. This shouldn't make your life harder.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm allergic to
absolutely.
everything and have cats. I'm suspicious because they've been very good this stream. Oh gosh, that's a
They're
safe thing
wonderful.
to warn people about. I do have very, very ugly cats. So if you ever see anything very terrible come up onto the screen, everything's fine.
Respectfully, they're beautiful.
They're gross. Shimon is saying, "Hey, we're gonna have guest sessions similar to the previous
Oh,
boot camps." We love them. We love the guest sessions. We're gonna rerun the videos from the previous sessions instead of
yeah,
doing guest sessions again. And I do confess that the reason for this is logistical on our side. So getting all the guests sorted, getting them booked in, was an additional sort of yeah. Both of us have jobs, and it was a little bit challenging to do live guest sessions interspersed with the boot camp. Seeing as web and JavaScript together are going to be 13 weeks this time. Y'all, some of you are doing both. Y'all better take a vacation after this. So we will have the videos of the past guest sessions, and we may try and get a couple for JavaScript, but I don't. It's not going to be one guest a week. I'm so sorry, like last time.
yeah. Since
And
we're
Donato
since
was
we're ramp
asking. Sorry,
sorry,
no,
go
please.
ahead. I just wanted to say sorry. So in the end, so when we were ramping up both of these boot camps, we just wanted to make sure we could get it up as quickly as possible because the like when we saw that this JavaScript one was coming up, we thought, oh, we have to go ahead and ramp it up. And so we're going to prioritize getting both boot camps done over the guest sessions for now. But we have loads of great videos that we're going to spend time with y'all watching.
And it seems a little mean to make our guests come back year after year and give us the same talk.
Ah, they're so wonderful.
So Donaldo was saying, "Hey, is the format of this going to be we do our lessons on our own and then class time is spent on questions about it?" A little bit. So together, you and I, um, will go through usually the first half of each session. So where am I? Let's add this to the stage. Where? Here we go. So let's look at all the little steps that make this up. So we'd probably do this together. So I'll come in, I'll talk a little bit about the aspects, we'll look at it, and just say, okay, let's do this first step. Let's do this second step. And what we're going to do together is look at how many steps. They're tiny steps to start with, they can't hurt you. So we'll probably do about half of these. And I'll answer your questions and explain concepts as we go. And then when we hit about halfway, I'll say, ah, ha, 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 because I'm mean. I'll take obvious joy in it. I'll say, nope, you have to finish on your own. And when I say finish on your own, I mean finish with help from folks in the Discord, with help from folks in the forum, not always on your own. If you get stuck, there's usually someone around who can help. But this is going to be, hey, we're going to talk about the concepts and go through it and answer questions, but lessons on your own as well. The flipped classroom was such an interesting term for this. It's so nice.
Yeah.
And we should talk because we do give homework, but the homework is very soft. So the homework will generally be Please try to finish this section if you can.
Yeah.
Please try and work a little on your projects if you can. The big thing is the free code camp is not going anywhere. Your
Yep.
work, as long as it's being saved to you, to the system, isn't going to go anywhere. If you need to come back and finish the boot camp after the streams are done, the streams aren't going anywhere either. Everything is okay. I mean, everything on the boot camp is
Yeah.
okay. The wider world is hard. H had such a
Ooh.
good question. I'm not ignoring you. I'm saving it to the end because it's my favorite question so far. And Rob is asking a really good question to say, okay,
Ooh.
okay, you two, you're saying that we can spend as much time on the boot camp as we want. That's not. How long are these lessons? How long are the streams going to be? Fair.
Great question. Let
We're
me
going
bring
to
up
hang out
the
for,
schedule while you do that. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
we're going to hang out for about an hour every day, Monday to Friday. We'll have a couple of extra days off between the web and the JavaScript
JavaScript.
bootcamp. So we'll do about an hour a day together, and then some more time. Like if you've got the time to do some more work on your own, amazing, perfect, incomparable.
Yep.
Aha.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just looking at this. I was like, these are really reasonable rules. No signups, no mandatory.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to say, like, if you wanna follow the schedule along, if you go to badwebsite.club and then go to the free web development bootcamp, you can find a Google Calendar that you can add to your own, and, it should work this time. I checked it. We should be good.
Yeah.
Huh.
CC makes a really good point. It says, you should probably expect to spend maybe a couple hours every day on each free code camp lesson. Oh heck.
Spoken from experience. Love it.
I promise I'm not ignoring you. I'm just conscious that you've got a question about open source, and we're going to be and we'll talk to folks about what open source means. So Katsu's saying, if I understand correctly, all of the coding we're going to do for these are going to be done on Free Code Camp. The projects aren't necessarily, yeah. And say, do we suggest that you code along in common editors like Visual Studio? Yes. So we've got some guest sessions from last year now. Technically, it's January, that walk you through things like setting up Netlify if you want to, so that's someplace you can push your code live. Talk about how to get GitHub up and working. So we will go ahead and make those available, and we will go ahead and flag those throughout the bootcamp. If you've got Visual Studio Code, and we will share a video for how to install and use Visual Studio Code, I promise. If you do want to include those, I really recommend doing it. One more. So please keep asking your questions. I'm going to answer this super fast. And then H, I promise your questions next because I'm really excited to talk about open source. Ruben's saying, so for the web the web development bootcamp, will we use the old
Ooh.
free code camp one or the newer one? We're going to use the newer one, which is the one you can see. Let's come to curriculum. So I'm logged into freecodecamp.org/learn. And it's the responsive web design one right here. This is the one we're going to be working from.
Perfect.
Everything's fine. Now. Oh, and I'm not
Ooh.
cutting people off. If folks have other questions, let me know. I'm just very excited to answer H's question. Can we talk some more about open source? Is it to open to everyone? When is
Ooh.
it starting? How do we get involved? So open source is a concept. Well, no. My beloved co-teacher. What's open source?
Yeah, we heard a lot about it, right? And, um what we have here is we hear a lot of like, oh, if you want to find your first job in tech, you should do open source. Oh, you should contribute to open source. It's a great way to learn. Oh, open source is open to everyone. Let's take a step back, if I may, and think about what open source, and I'm going to assume that we're talking about open source software because, of course, a lot of things can be open source, but it's sort of a shorthand for open source software.
Yeah.
And it's all software is written in code. What makes a piece of code open source is that its code is somewhere mostly publicly available for you to take a look at
Yeah.
and do with it what you will for your own with rules.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different open source licenses, and these are sets of rules. But think about open source as a mental model, as an ethos for some specific kinds of software. Open source
Mhm.
software is stuff that's generally more permissive to use. So, trying to think of a common web app. Oh, if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, say both of these are web applications, and they may have some open source components, but they're not open source. We can't go and look at all of the code for Twitch. It's probably not going to happen. But there are open source web applications where you can look at the whole code and you can actually add your own code and say, hey, I've written this. Do you want to add this to your application? Do you want to add this to your website? So, uh, so open source is a type of software where generally people can see the code and often contribute their own pieces of code. We'll talk about it towards the end of the JavaScript bootcamp. For context, I try and be really, really clear about my biases before we go into the boot camps. And I used to always joke, hey, we're going to be using MDN, this documentation a lot.
Yeah.
I like a lot, but I don't work for Mozilla. I do work for Mozilla now, which is a nonprofit that does a lot of open source stuff. And my day job was working with open source things. So if you want, towards the end of the boot camp, I'll show you what I work on for my day job. And by the time we get there, I'll try and go ahead and find a bunch of small code projects that might be a good fit for beginners. So we'll talk about open source. I'll show you what I do I'll show you what the engineers do at my job. I do stuff like this. It's quite fun. But it's such a good question. And do you know what? If you want to hang out in the general channel of Discord or over in the forum, I'm super happy to have an asynchronous talk about open source as well, because I'm
Ooh,
conscious that we're coming up at about 50 minutes. And if you let me, I'll talk about open source all day. And it's going to be very boring for folks who aren't looking for that.
such a great question, though.
Oh, Ty was asking, are we going to use Git and GitHub? So we're
Ooh.
not going to use them as the core part of the boot camp, but we do
Nope.
think that Git and GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket is Bitbucket's Git. Hmm.
Should be I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Are important parts of the skills most web developers need. So we've got a video from a past bootcamp introducing, hey, here's GitHub, here's how to get started. So we will go ahead and have some optional additional material, but we're not going to be teaching, it's not going to be required as part of getting your certificate. Is that all right?
Perfect.
Ha ha ha. How about an little open source boot camp before Hacktoberfest?
Ooh, what's
So I will
Hacktoberfest?
be doing some intro to open source stuff as part of my main job in
Ooh,
September before Hacktoberfest. So it's not, I can let y'all know about it in the bootcamp channels, but I'll be doing some stuff before Hacktoberfest. Oh gosh, for context, Hacktoberfest is an open source event that happens in October where a lot of people try and make a bunch of open source contributions. So they try and give a bunch of open source projects code throughout every day in October. And I don't think I've ever won it myself. It's a little exhausting.
mhm.
Ooh, ooh. So I'll definitely do something before Hacktoberfest, I promise, but maybe not on the Bad Website Club banner. Controversial. I have a lot of opinions about this. I'm so excited. Oh, wait, hang on. I will come back to a very, very fast question. How long will each class take? Each stream will be
Ooh,
about an hour, but
yeah,
you'll almost definitely need more than an hour to finish each section.
yeah. So like each lesson itself will be about an hour every weekday. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
find it there on the Bad Website Club website.
Let's ask a
So we had a
controversial
controversial
question.
question.
Yeah,
Ooh, I love
yeah.
controversial
Because I've
questions.
got a lot of spiky opinions. Hey, do we think AI like ChatGPT will limit career opportunities for the future of front end development or other areas?
Hmm. Well, I'd love a spicy take.
So I'm also very careful because I work with data sets that are often used in AI, and I'm trying not to. Hmm. Um, I'm very old. I am incalculably old. I am very, very, very old. And we saw so right now it feels like an AI hype bubble, and we saw an AI chatbot hype bubble back in 2016, 2017. And they said, "Oh, it's perfect. You can't tell the difference between these chatbots and real people." But now if you go to a website and try and get support,
Yeah.
you get an obvious chatbot, and it's not very good. So I do think we're gonna see some companies try and use stuff like ChatGPT, try and use generative AI to write code instead of hiring developers. I don't think it's gonna do a very good job. Um, one of
Yeah.
the thing that generative AI models do really, really well is they give you a convincing sounding answer, whether or not that works especially well. I worry all the time. I'm not super worried about front end development going away.
Yeah. I think that the we've seen the like, I think I myself have seen, like, a lot of conversation around this on the internet, on social media, on video platforms of like, "Oh, AI is going to replace everything," and all that, and, like, it will what I've seen lately is these tools being used to help support a software developer uh, rather than replace them. What I'm seeing is just like a lot of third party open source libraries, a developer will always be required to put these pieces of code together and have them communicate and make sense. And I don't think it's gonna happen that that won't be needed.
The same
But it is a
way
very
if you
loud.
write an
Oh, sorry.
essay with chat. Oh, sorry.
No, no, you're absolutely right. Keep going.
I was gonna say, when you write an essay with ChatGPT, it looks like a ChatGPT essay. If you try and glue together code with generative AI, it often looks a little samey. I've got a lot of very exhausting old lady takes on the ethics of
Mm.
like generative AI and where we source our data sets, but this is an advanced old lady rant, and I won't bore y'all about it yet. Yet. I'm not worried that generative AI is going to get rid of developers tomorrow or next week or next year or next decade. Yeah. Then again, I'm wrong a lot. So you can go ahead and spend as much or as little worry as you have in your heart on it. Oh,
Ooh,
this is such a good question. Will each day or lesson be a new subject? Will each day of the week be? So we're going to let me get you. So we're going to go through day by day. No, gosh. Oh, and I hate to be rude, but is your username then comes Dudley? Are you based in Dudley, or do you just have a very cool name? I've never had a bad time. Dudley is a town just up the way from me, and I've never had a bad time there. Is why I ask so
ooh,
excitedly. They've got a castle that's at the zoo.
lovely.
So what we're going to do is every day. So Monday, we're going to do Learn HTML by building a cat photo app. We're going to get about halfway through, and then we'll abandon you and ask you to finish the rest on your own. We don't think that everybody's going to finish this by Tuesday. That's fine. That's not a big deal. But Tuesday, we're going to start on Learn basic CSS by building a cafe menu. We know that not everybody's going to be able to view live. We absolutely know that nobody is going to be able to join us live every single day of the week. We are both not going to be here live every single day of the week, right?
Nope,
Because you're going to
nope.
do all the Friday nights.
We've got so so,
We'll debate that
uh,
later.
well, no, so the of course, so the aim, of course, is to make this as self-paced as possible. So, for example, some of these, modules will go over 1 or more days. You'll see that on the titles on YouTube. But the aim is to cover as much as possible.
And the other thing is the videos are going to stay up on YouTube. If you can't join us
Right.
live, you can still get the pace of somebody talking to you while they're not, well, at least if it's my voice, somebody talking to you while they're frustrated about why it's not working. Oh, do you know what? That makes so folks who can't show up 5 days a week, that's completely fine. We This is
Absolutely.
not designed to do every single day, brr. Come when you want to. And the other thing is we'll do this boot camp again. So if you get like 50% of the way done and you wanted more face-to-face time, come back and finish it when we do it again. There's no hurry and no worry. Matt makes a
Absolutely.
durable point, and he says,
Oh,
Quincy said that AI needs to be coded and humans will write that code, so developers should be safe for a while.
I love that.
Yeah, and do you know what? Later on, I sound like a parent driving past a fast food place with a playground. Oh, later. But we can talk about sort of the fundamentals of AI and what that means and what a data set is
Ooh.
later on in the JavaScript course. I don't want to like go too much all over the place. But yeah, we've promised that we take just right around an hour every day. And we've got right around an hour now. Shall we give people their homework?
Oh, what's the homework?
I mean, the homework for me is the same homework it always is.
I think I like where this is going.
So, your special homework, if you've joined us today, if you've joined us today and you're going to be joining us for the Web Development Bootcamp on Monday, just go ahead and have a little look at this. So, just
Yeah.
go ahead and create a login for Free Code Camp. This one's me. Oh gosh, I've been doing this since 2015.
Wow.
Oh, and I've reset my, I've reset this, so it's not just that I haven't done anything. And then come on in and just have a look. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to start. Just have a look at, hey, what is this? What are we going to be working on? What does this feel like? And then, do you want to give people the most important homework?
Yes. Oh, I get the honor of doing it. Please have the most relaxing, chill, joyous weekend. How'd
Like
I do?
learning to program it is stressful and it is hard. So the homework you're going to get consistently through this is to be gentle with yourselves as you do it. Like, it's gonna make you feel silly enough already. You've gotta be really, really lovely and soft to yourself to make up for it.
Absolutely. I love that.
Amazing. I'll let you all go, and I'll let you go as well.
Well, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining. Jess, thank you as always for being a wonderful co-teacher.
Oh,
And
no, no, we're not gonna get into a thank you off. Absolutely not.
okay, okay. Then I'll just thank our wonderful learners.
Do you know what?
Remember,
After
this is a
after we
yep.
hang up on the course, "Oh, no, you. Oh, no, you. Oh," it'll be vicious. Amazing. I'm going to be the mean one. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. It's gonna be super chill. I'll see many of you Monday, but if you can't join us live on Monday, not even a problem. The videos are always on YouTube. Everything's as easy as it can be for actually being quite hard. Bye, my loves.
Take care.